l'Italia. Gazzetta.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly as it's a bumper Christmas edition we bring you this morning with 2 full rounds of fixtures in the last 7 days. There's action as 4 of the top 5 sides clash last weekend. There's extended highlights of Wednesday's Inter Verona as Ronaldo amazes once more and we discover why a cross exchange with the Brazilian made Conceição cry. Plus, there's all the rest of this special midweek round. Elsewhere, we'll get the latest news from Parma, who fired yet another manager, and in this, the final show of 2001, we'll be looking back on the last 12 months, the goals that made us gasp, the gaffes that made us guffaw. Yes, good morning everybody and welcome to Gazzetta. For 10 years now, the ideal way to avoid getting on with your Saturday morning. Now, it's a freezing but festive looking Piazza Navona in Rome that acts as our backdrop for part 1 as we kick off a show that, as we've heard, is even more stuffed than one of Bernard Matthews' finest. We're not just last weekend's games, but also the midweek round 2 when City have finally got round to playing week 6 of the season. Clever them. We're going to start off anyway today with last weekend's action. Now, 7 days ago, there were some mighty big questions hanging over the round of fixtures. Down at the bottom, would Parma and Fiorentina, for example, recover their form, or were they really headed for relegation? Upstairs, meanwhile, who would prove the stronger on Sunday night between Roma and Milan? And what would happen on Saturday at the San Siro when Inter took on Chievo, the very side they just knocked off the top, the Sports? Well, it's that San Siro match that we begin with this morning. Could Inter extend their lead or would Chievo snatch back top spot? With the answers from the San Siro, here's Gary Bloom.
Ball here is Zanetti. Farinos in towards Christian Vieri. He'll need support here. And has it from Oken, who's been fouled rather cynically there by Lana. Lana sliding in on this frozen pitch. Milan's cup tie against Lazio here on Thursday was called off because of snow. Farinos with a free kick. Sorondo, terrific save by Lupatelli, but Vieri was claiming he was having his jersey tugged there. What a fantastic save by Cristiano Lupatelli. Heriberto again. Can he get past Gresco? Oh, with some ease. Marazzina and Carradi at the back post almost converted. Chievo counter-attack with the speed of Olympic sprinters. They're so difficult to play against. Carradi. And it's Heriberto again. Marazzina in the middle, if they can pick him out. Perotta! How many chances do they need to take the lead? They want to come back here and sting Inter. They're doing pretty well. And they've scored! Carradi, I think, has claimed it. His header seemed to cross the goal line before Farinos got his hand to the ball. But the referee says goal. Carradi scored against Milan here with a header from a corner 2 weeks ago. Hector Coupe said before the game how highly he rates Chievo. Well, now he knows firsthand what they're like. Farinos. Farinos again with a chance to cross the ball. Ronaldo. Vieri! Came off his shins, but they all count. By no means as spectacular as some of his recent strikes. Oh, but my goodness, Inter needed that. Vieri to his right, Ronaldo to his left. Well, last week's strike at Brescia was his first Serie A goal since November '99. Maybe he's just getting the taste of it again. Given away cheaply there by Inter. Perotta. Slid forward here towards Marazzina! And the same 2 players who struck here against Milan a fortnight ago at the San Siro have done it again. Inter find themselves 2-1 down and Marazzina's the goal scorer. It's his 8th goal in Serie A this season. Zanetti. Luigi Di Biagio, this is Gresco. It's all Inter at the moment. Vieri. Surely this is the equaliser. Vieri, Ronaldo. Oh, how did it stay out? 2 years ago, that would have been a certain goal from the boot of Ronaldo. He's still a little bit ring rusty. And Vieri unselfishly squared the ball, and Heriberto somehow managed to keep the ball out. Eugenio Carini with a free kick. In towards Carradi. Baroni struck his own player. Well, when they compile the video of misses of the season, this match will produce many an incident.
Oh, a fascinating idea for a stocking filler, that, Gary. Misses or not, anyway, Serie A new boys Chievo take back first place then in the division with that performance. The Flying Donkeys naturally ecstatic at the final whistle, as after their previous near misses at Juventus and Milan, they score a historic victory over one of Europe's most prestigious sides. On to these Sunday afternoon matches then. Viewers concentrated this week into one big sticky wodge. First up for us, it's Chievo's neighbours Verona at home to Lazio. Good news then at the death in Venice. Well, that just leaves one humble little fixture to complete the round 15 picture, and it was Sunday night's game at the Stadio Olimpico, Roma against Milan. Milan here had a chance to reclaim a place in the top 4 of Serie A, but a win for Roma would see them catch Chievo at the top of the table. Well, with highlights of the match now, it's over to Peter Brackley.
Candela. Now Francesco Totti is ever such a key player for Roma. The talismanic captain. And the foul by Albertini. Living a little dangerously here early on. And shots for Del Vecchio! Agonisingly wide of that far post as he suddenly sprung forward there. Catching out Jose Chamot. Being held to a goalless draw by Inter here last month. Roma have secured 3 straight wins in Serie A. 2 have come away at Bologna and Parma. They might have an opportunity here to break through. It's Francesco Totti, deflected, but it's gone in. Off Abbiati. Francesco Totti. The goal has been a long time coming. Who better to score it for Roma than their captain? So often he's been their saviour in the past. And the man these Roma fans idolise has got that first goal of the night. Is there now to be a response then from the Rossoneri? 1 more minute to be added on. We're into that now. Oh, terrific stop by Antonioli. Rui Costa looked to have bent that in there, and he got across in time. Fabulous save by Antonioli to preserve his team's advantage. Del Vecchio looking for his first Serie A goal since getting this run in the side. That was not far away. Panucci's header. And what for Emerson here, going in on the far post. Oh, he's got a connection then. Gattuso. It's a rather shoddy defending by Roma. The whistle's gone, that will not count. Fired in by Jose Mari. Collina had already blown for the offence. You could clearly hear the whistle then. No real complaint from Ancelotti. Collina rules. Capu's quick throw. It's Totti now. Del Vecchio unmarked in the middle. Marco Del Vecchio! It should have been 2, but all credit there to Christian Abbiati, who came out so quickly to close him down. Capello knows, though, this should have been another goal for his team.
Well, that 1-0 win was enough to see Roma join Chievo on top. Now, in a couple of minutes' time, we'll have more action from the league as we see what the midweek round did to the title race. Right now, though, it's Turkey time as we begin our look back at the highs and lows of 2001 with, as a South African archer might say, a selection of the year's finest errors.
Gazzetta.
The Scorpion from Black & Decker.
It works just like a handsaw.
from the San Siro. As
Gazzetta.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, this midweek, Serie A finally got round to playing week 6 of the season. The missing round of games that had been postponed back in October and has been playing havoc with our numbering ever since. Well, this Wednesday afternoon, all but one of the 9 games were finally played, the missing match being Chievo against Lazio, which was postponed yet again, this time due to extremely icy conditions at the Bentigodi Stadium in Verona, which of course had already proved a problem last weekend. With the players midweek describing the pitch there as like a slab of marble and the referee agreeing, a new date for this encounter will now have to be found, and it probably won't be before late January. Well, meanwhile, the games that were played on Wednesday turned out to be well worth the wait. Now, we're going to be concentrating on one match in particular here in part 2, Inter against Verona, with extended highlights from the San Siro. As you'll surely recall, last weekend's games had seen Inter knocked off top spot by Verona's neighbours Chievo and then overtaken by Roma too. Now, Verona were lying a good deal further down the table than the Flying Donkeys, but were similarly unintimidated by the top sides, as indeed they just proved with Sunday's 3-1 thrashing of Lazio. So, could they now repeat Chievo's success at the San Siro, or would Inter follow their stars to victory once more? Let's find out now with the best of the action with Gary Bloom.
Gresco. Gulli. Up towards Vieri. And here's Ronaldo. It was a smart intermove, but no great power in the shot from Ronaldo. Cristiano Zanetti. Touched on by Vieri, and Ronaldo's away here. Can he finish? The answer is no. Gulli. Poor clearance by Paolo Cannavaro. And Gulli's through in towards Vieri. Took a deflection, and Inter have the lead on 18 minutes. That goal had been coming, and once the ball landed at the boot of Christian Vieri, it was likely to be a goal for Inter. Took a slight deflection off Seric. Gulli just managed to stay onside here, and Vieri took a slice of luck with his goal. And Inter have the corner. Hasn't been effectively cleared. Cristiano Zanetti. Luigi Di Biagio. Zanetti again. And Cristiano Zanetti went close for a second time there. He had 2 opportunities. This was the second one, after Luigi Di Biagio was just unable to get his shot away. Massimo Oddo with a free kick. Camoranese! And he heads it straight at Francesco Toldo. Bit of a waste there for Verona. They haven't had many chances, but this is just about their best. And Verona find an equaliser in stoppage time here. Headers by Gonella. Well held by Toldo. It was a very tight angle there for Gonella. In fact, it came off the Inter man, Soronda. It's Vienne. No offside here. Gulli. And Sergio Conceição has put it wide. Back in the side today due to Okun's injury. And he would have liked to have capped his return with a goal. He won't get many better chances than this. Cristiano Zanetti. Ronaldo. Ambitious attempt by Cristiano Zanetti, and he had Vieri free. 5 against 3 in Inter's favour, and it breaks to Javier Zanetti, the Argentine international, who captains Inter today. Vieri, Luigi Di Biagio, Sergio Conceição. Ronaldo's pulled to the back post, and a rare-headed goal for Ronaldo. How Hector Couper enjoyed that. And would you believe it, for all his goals, it's only the 4th time Ronaldo scored with his head in Serie A. Sergio Conceição picking out an unmarked Ronaldo. There are bound to be suspicions about offside here, but Sergio Conceição got in behind Verona. Gulli shakes off the challenge of Massimo Oddo, and here's Ronaldo. That is brilliant. That's what the Inter fans have been waiting to see. Ronaldo back to his very best at the San Siro. It's 3-0 to Inter. But what a strike here by Ronaldo. He sold at least 2 dummies before placing the ball into an unguarded net. And Inter hungry for more goals. Vieri still searching the ball. It's broken here to Sergio Conceição. And Ronaldo and Vieri just took a deflection. It would have been a picture-book goal there by Inter. Lovely layoff here by Ronaldo. Verona looking for a consolation goal. And now Gresco has been involved in an incident here with Camoranesi, no penalty. Despite the Verona protests, 2001 will be remembered as a year of Ronaldo's knee injury. One hopes that 2002 will be remembered for his goals.
My word, Ronaldo gets a brace, and about time too, as some dentists would observe. Well, naturally, Thursday's paper's full of what they called Big Ron's definitive comeback. He's a marvel, cries the Corriere. He's stupendous, says the Gazzetta. Papers agreeing that if there were any remaining doubting Thomases over his comeback, that performance will have shut them up. Oh, good. Inter thus become the team to beat once again. Now, very shortly, we'll be seeing what happened around the rest of the league on Wednesday afternoon. But right now, let's break up the action a little bit with all the week's big news stories. And in the headlines over the last 7 days, Parma fired Daniel Passarella, Paolo Maldini gives Italy World Cup shivers, and Pietro Viecawod returns. Item 1 then is further drama at Parma, with the club firing Daniel Passarella this Tuesday at dawn, atmospherically enough. The Argentine, the club's 4th manager in just the last 12 months, had only joined Parma 6 weeks ago after their first choice, Carlo Ancelotti, had rather wisely turned them down. On arrival anyway, Passarella had promised a top 4 finish for Parma this season. Substitute top for bottom, and he'd more or less be spot on. Parma indeed lying second last right now in Serie A after his 5 games in charge had brought 5 straight defeats, their worst ever streak. Says Daniel now, I'm surprised at the decision and sad not to continue my work. Still, don't cry for the former Argentina captain, because as Wednesday's papers revealed with horror, his contract still means that he'll get £3.25 million for just 42 days' work and record-breakingly bad results. Where's he off to next? Rail track? Well, anyway, having done their bit now for the Argentine economy, Parma this week then re-entrusted the team to their goalkeeping coach, Gideone Carmignani. Carmignani had already filled in for 1 game before Passarella's arrival. Say directors now, barring disasters, this time he'll remain until the end of the season.
Dal punto di vista tecnico-tattico penso che cambi poco, diciamo che si spera sempre che succeda qualche cosa che moralmente ci porti a fare un risultato positivo.
Well, Parma next contestant, please, is how the Gazzetta greeted on Wednesday their 3rd manager in 3 months. You can see how the new man got on in his debut away to Torino in part 3 of this morning's show. Right now, though, on to our item 2, which is injury to Paolo Maldini. As we'll be seeing very shortly, Paolo went down 26 minutes into Milan's midweek match away to Atalanta, when on an icy pitch, the classic Maldini slide ended with him clutching at his left knee in agony. At first, there was widespread panic the injury might jeopardise the Italy captain's presence at the next World Cup. However, after casing his joint this Thursday, doctors say he should be back playing in a couple of months. Still, after Pippo Inzaghi's injury 2 weeks ago, it's yet another major blow to Milan's title hopes. Well, moving on to item 3 then, and keeping it in the family. Next up, it's Paolo's dad, Cesare Maldini, who confirmed this week, last week's stories, that he's signing on to manage Paraguay at next summer's World Cup. The 69-year-old former Italy coach is in South America right now to sort out the details. And remember, looking at the World Cup draw, it's not impossible that his Paraguay could be meeting Italy in the quarter-finals. What a family feud that would prove. Well, moving on now to item 4, and legendary defender Pietro Viecawod is back. Viecawod, now 42, signed on this week as manager of Sicilian side Catania, a team you might say at high seismic risk, lying as they do just down the road from Mount Etna and owned by the equally volcanic Perugia boss Luciano Gauci. Yep, that's the man. Now, Catania were last in Serie A in 1984, and having got into big trouble in the mid-90s, they're currently struggling all the way down in 5th last place in Serie C, the Italian 3rd division. This despite the best efforts of Gauci, who, amongst other things this season, has forced his players into punitive training camps in one-star hotels. They've no telephones, they've no TVs, they've no minibars, as he proudly explains. Wow, that's the place to send Lee Boyer. Well, Vieco, although, is undaunted by it all, calling his appointment indeed a stupendous adventure. Veteran of 3 World Cups and winner of 3 Scudettos at Roma, Sampdoria and Juventus, the man they call the Tsar adds, in 25 years as a player, I've already seen it all. That's what you think, matey. But then, as Grouchy Gauchi once tried to fire another of his managers for bringing a dog to a press conference, maybe you haven't, Pietro. Well, anyway, speaking of all things canine, our last story this morning is a quick update on Jaap Stam, the former Manchester United defender, currently on suspension after testing positive for steroids at Lazio. This week, the Italian FA's prosecutor called for a 10-month ban for the Dutchman, plus a £70,000 fine. Says Jaap, this is worse than any injury. Even 1 day off would be too much. But the FA are warning him, though, to forget the kind of easy ride that Davids and co got last season, as they've changed their suspensions. The argument of involuntary consumption used back then no longer applies, they stress, inside this interesting-looking building. Well, for the exact length of Stam's eventual ban, we'll have to wait for his disciplinary hearing to start, which is going to be in mid-January. Well, that's it then for the papers for this morning, and until, in fact, 2002. Time to get back to the midweek action now on Gazzetta with Johnny Gould, and next up, Atalanta-Milan.
Only Inter had beaten Atalanta in the last 2 months, so Milan knew it would be tough to emulate their city rivals' victory in Bergamo. But the Rossoneri started brightly. Marco Simone, starting his first Serie A game since returning to the club from Monaco, brought the very best out of Massimo Taibi here. However, the loss of Paolo Maldini, whose knee injury saw him replaced by Calazza, saw Milan severely weakened at the back. And after Luca Saudati went close, Atalanta took the lead. And the goal came from a former Milan player. Luigi Sala scored for the 2nd successive game. However, their lead was wiped out just before the hour mark. Andrei Shevchenko upped his season's tally to 14 in all competitions. Moments later, the Ukrainian star almost put the Rossoneri ahead following this dazzling run. However, on this occasion, he couldn't get the better of Taibi. Atalanta were looking for their 3rd straight win, and they finished this game the stronger. The Nerazzurri's summer recruit from Milan, Gianni Comandini, almost restored the home side's advantage here before strong claims for a penalty in stoppage time were turned down after Cristiano Doni went down under Abbiati's challenge. It ended 1-1. Juventus had won just once on their travels in Serie A all season, but they made a lively start in Florence. Just 5 minutes in, David Trezeguet had a goal ruled out for offside. The Bianconeri dominated the opening period. Here, Alessandro Del Piero just failed to add to the 10 goals he's already claimed this season. Fiorentina were indebted to the former Arsenal keeper Alex Manninger. He was outstanding against Brescia on Sunday, and in this game he put in another impressive display. In the first half he kept out both Trezeguet and then Alessio Tacchinardi. The Viola's best chance of the opening period fell to Nuno Gomes. However, the Portuguese international, scorer of just 3 goals this season, failed to add to his tally here. The home side started the second half impressively, but spurned a glorious chance through Marco Rossi, whose only Serie A goal came in last season's corresponding fixture. He failed to get the better of Buffon, and Fiorentina were left to rue that miss. On 57 minutes, Nuno Gomes' suicidal back pass played in David Trezeguet, and the French star upped his tally to 17 in all competitions this season. Indeed, he's the top marksman in Italy. Fiorentina fought back and claimed an equaliser on 79 minutes. Nuno Gomes atoned for that error to score his first Serie A goal for 10 matches. It finished 1-1, but not before Alessandro Del Piero's late flurry almost produced an injury time winner for the Bianconeri. Carlo Mazzoni made an emotional return to the Stadio Olimpico after guiding Brescia to victory here the previous week in the Italian Cup. But it was Roma, looking for their 5th straight league win, who started impressively in this game. That was Francesco Totti going close. Brescia's keeper Luca Castellazzi was a busy man early on. Here he kept out Marcos Assunção. With Chievo's match being called off, the Giallorossi knew that a win would see them reclaim the Serie A leadership, but their finishing was to let them down in this game. After both Cafu and Totti had been left frustrated, Roma's £20 million signing from Bari, Antonio Cassano, was left still searching for his first Serie A goal for the side from the capital. Brescia offered little as an attacking force and were ultimately happy to settle for a goalless draw, which was confirmed when Cafu was denied late on. Roma have scored just twice now in their last 4 league games here.
Well, we'll have more from the league in a couple of minutes' time. Part 2 concludes, though, now with a bit of a festive treat, as coming down your televisual chimneys next are the best goals of 2001. Hold aloft that mistletoe and let the scoring begin.
Gazzetta.
Four games.
Gazzetta.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, with 4 games left under the Gazzetta tree, time now for gifted Gary Bloom to wrap our midweek coverage, revealing presently if Udinese's post-Hodgson decline would continue, if Parma's new manager would make any difference, and if Venezia, having finally got their first win of the season, would now start making a comeback. For all that and more then, over to Gary.
Bologna were level with both Lazio and Milan coming into this game, and they started with a flourish. Fabio Pecchia, who opened his Rosso Blue account against Perugia 3 days earlier, came desperately close to scoring again. Gianpiero Ventura's side became the first to lose to Venezia in Serie A at the weekend and almost fell behind in this game here. However, Luigi Turci produced a stunning save to keep out Lamberto Zauli. However, somewhat against a run of play, the visitors hit the front 55 minutes in. Davide Di Michele's exquisite back heel released Martin Jorgensen, who struck for the 5th time in Serie A this season. It ended 1-0 as Udinese celebrated their first clean sheet of the season. It was more than 50 years since Lecce won at home to Perugia and they fell behind 20 minutes in. Giovanni Tedesco's 4th goal of the season put the visitors ahead. But Lecce were level almost immediately. After Rahman Raze appeared to handle a shot from Cimirotic, the Iranian midfielder upended Conticchio. Sersi Cosmi could only look on as Javier Chevanton claimed his first goal for 2 months. However, the visitors soon restored their advantage. Fabio Bazzani's start-finish was only his 2nd goal of the season and boosted a Perugia side that had lost its last 5 matches on the road. But once again, Lecce replied instantly. Alessandro Conticchio opened his account for the season following Marco Di Loretto's mistake. However, there was still 1 goal to come in this game, and it went the way of the visitors. Perugia's Chilean substitute Nicolas Cordova saw his shot rebound in off the unfortunate Antonio Chimenti, and Perugia celebrated their first away win since their trip to nearby Bari back in April. And a new coach, Pietro Carmignani. Parma started brightly at the Delle Alpi, and after Marco Di Vaio had gone close here, this outrageous effort from the Parma striker severely tested the nerve of keeper Stefano Sorrentino, in for the suspended Luca Bucci. Torino were looking for their first Serie A win at home to Parma in 9 years, and they went in front on the stroke of half-time. Marco Ferranti was fouled by Ferrari, and despite the efforts of Frey, the Granata striker claimed his 100th goal for the club. Parma's best chance of an equaliser came in the dying minutes. However, Marchioni's unselfish ball to the offside Di Vaio ultimately secured the Giallo Blues' 6th consecutive Serie A defeat. Fresh from Sunday's long overdue first win of the season, Venezia were desperate for another positive result against Piacenza, and they hit the front 32 minutes in. Despite appearing to handle the ball, Filippo Maniero, so inspirational against Udinese at the weekend, fired the home side ahead. And they nearly went in at the break 2-up. However, this shot from Federico Magallanes bounced just the wrong side of the upright. Walter Novellino looked a concerned man, but he needn't have worried. On 53 minutes, Carmine Gautieri struck his 3rd goal of the season following a mistake by Venezia's Pablo Garcia. Venezia were unbeaten here since late September, and they restored their lead soon after. Federico Magallanes scored only for the second time in Serie A this season. But once again, Piacenza equalised. Paolo Poggi, Venezia born and bred, struck against the club where he began his career. And within seconds, the same player, who early this season had broken the record for the fastest ever top-flight goal, struck again to earn the visitors their first win here in a decade.
For Team of the Week, we've gone for Chievo, following their hugely impressive win at the San Siro. Certainly, their rise to the top has been no fluke. Few teams have managed to cope with the Flying Donkeys' rapid, aggressive and well-organised game this season, and Luigi Del Neri's side are showing no signs of easing the pace. And the Chievo boss has two of his stars in our Serie A Best 11 of the week. Massimo Marazzina is joined up front by the rejuvenated Ronaldo, while in midfield another Brazilian, Heriberto, takes his place alongside the quartet of Beretta, Assunção, Tedesco and Camoranesi. At the back, the impressive Alex Manninger of Fiorentina lines up behind a back three of Luigi Sala, Salvatore Fressi and José Chamot. For Player of the Week, meantime, we've gone for Ronaldo. His second strike against Verona in midweek, which was also our choice as Goal of the Week, was the clearest sign to date that the Brazilian might yet fully rediscover the form that made him the world's #1 player before his injury nightmare. With Chievo's match against Lazio postponed, Inter took the chance to regain top spot with that demolition of Verona. Elsewhere, both Roma and Juventus will be disappointed not to have recorded victories, as will Milan. But their match in Bergamo was completely overshadowed with news of Paolo Maldini's serious knee injury. At the bottom, Venezia's revival came to a shuddering halt against Piacenza. Parma, meantime, suffered their 6th consecutive Serie A defeat, while Fiorentina's cause was helped by that point against Juventus. In the scorers chart, Dario Hübner still leads the way despite failing to add to his tally this week. Cristiano Doni and Andrei Shevchenko both moved up to 11, while Roberto Muzzi, Christian Vieri and David Trezeguet were also on target this week. And now it's competition time here on Gazzetta. Want to win a trip to see the Azzurri play in the 2002 World Cup in Japan and Korea? Each week on Football Italia Heroes, one lucky winner will receive a Garlando football table. Plus, every person who answers the question correctly will have a chance to win that big trip to the World Cup finals. If you're 18 or over, you can enter via the Football Italia website at channel4.com or by telephoning us on 0900 1 74 74 44. Calls cost 60p per minute and shouldn't take longer than 2.5 minutes. All you have to do is answer this simple question. Whose golden goal for France against Italy proved decisive in the final of Euro 2000? Was it David Trezeguet, Christophe Dugarry or Thierry Henry? Lines close next Wednesday at midday, but remember to ask for permission if it's not your phone. You can also find the answer and lucky winner posted on the Football Italia website, where among all the usual info you can keep up to date with the latest Serie A scores. Just click on to channel4.com/footballitalia to find out more. Back in Serie A, Milan will be looking to get their title challenge back on track at home to Verona, while both Juve and Lazio will have to be at their very best to get maximum points against Brescia and Bologna respectively. But Game of the Week takes place at the Bentegodi Stadium tonight as Chievo clash with the champions Roma. Here's James with the details.
You know, Johnny, despite the vast difference in stature between these two clubs, it's pretty hard to know just who is the underdog in this weekend's big fixture. It's surely not Roma. They are the Italian champions after all. Their midweek hiccup aside, they are one of the favourites for the Scudetto again this season. And after getting a taste of the lead last Sunday, winning now in Verona could see them back on top. But it's surely not Chievo either. 2 points off the lead, and like a happy child on Christmas morn, with a game in hand, they're now being taken very seriously indeed for a Champions League place at the least. While for the big clubs thus, Chievo have now definitely outstayed their welcome in the top positions, and Roma will see today's meeting as a whopping chance to bring them back down to earth and back down the table. Of course, Inter tried that just last Saturday and failed. Well, you can follow this latest assault on Chievo's improbable success story in tomorrow night's La Partita show, assuming they get the pitch defrosted in time, of course. We'll also have the rest of round 16, including Parma against Fiorentina in a relegation battle. No doubt about it, it is a strange old season. But in the meantime, that's it for Gazzetta until next January, tragically enough. So as we close up shop for the year then, we'll leave you with a last look back at what has been 12 months of capital calcio. From all of us here, it is arrivederci, buone feste, and good luck with that shopping.